Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
It is time again. How are we doing here on a Wednesday? Sparky with you. Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, part of the Potawatomi Sportsbook. A condensed show today as the Potawatomi Sportsbook postgame show on the air from 3:30 to 5:30 here this afternoon. Tim Allen and Tommy Wirtz. So you only got us for 90 minutes today, a shortened show. And then Tim and Tommy will be on to talk about the Brewers game going on right now, and we'll get into that momentarily. Things to talk about coming up in the show today. Jim Owczarski, Bucs beat writer for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, will join us coming up here in the second segment. We'll talk about Doc Rivers getting into the Hall of Fame, mainly as a coach, and how he sees that and whether he thinks Doc Rivers should be in the Hall of Fame as a NBA basketball coach. We'll also talk about the last couple of games that has seen the Bucs become a little bit more selfless, moving the basketball a little bit more. They ended up getting a victory yesterday as well, which was awfully nice to see. So that was good. So we'll get his thoughts there. Charlie Sounds of the Day moves up an hour because we're not going to be on at 3:40 till 2:40. So Charlie Sounds of the Day coming up at 2:40. Then at 3 o'clock, that moves up an hour. A Green and Gold update powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We read a piece and had on Pete Doherty, a piece that he did talking about drafting of Brian Gutekunst and the Green Bay Packers and how the Packers were essentially in the bottom third in this piece put together based on Pro Bowlers and all pros and that type of deal. Well, now there's another article out, not by Pete Doherty, but another article out talking about how great the Packers have been at drafting and how good Brian Gutekunst has been at drafting. So we'll go over that process and see which one we like better as far as how to grade a draft out. Then at 3:20, we will do Things Sparky Miss, brought to you by the Milwaukee Admirals. And normally on Wednesdays at 4:40 when we do this segment, John Greenberg or Charlie Larson, the Milwaukee Admirals, normally join us. So John Greenberg, president of the Admirals, will join us today at 3:20 prior to getting to the Potawatomi Sportsbook postgame show with Tim Allen and Tommy Wirtz at 3:30. So that is the full show. With that, we start off the show with this.
It's time to talk about the Crew. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, so we're going to start off here talking about what's going on in this current Brewers-Rays game before we get to anything else in the game. And the reason that we are going to start off talking about this is because of what happened during the game. Now, I'm sure if you were listening to the Mason Crosby show without Mason Crosby today, Mitch Thunder Ellis and Tommy Wirtz were talking about it because when the game went to commercial, I flipped back over to hear what Mitch and Tommy were talking about, and they were talking about what happened. So CB Buckner, who obviously made a mistake yesterday at first base and is getting ran over by buses all over the country for missing the call on Jake Bauers touching first base. So already he's got controversy there. Prior to that, he's missing nothing is easy because I can't do what they're doing, but missing calls that it appears CB Buckner should be making, balls and strikes. So he's been under fire for that as well. Now today he's behind home plate. Jacob Mizorowski cooking! Had 2 strikeouts in the first inning, had a couple more rolling there in the second, and then what happened? Foul tip, hits Buckner in the mask, boom, down he goes to all fours. Contreras reaches behind, says, uh-oh, out comes help. They get Buckner up. Doesn't appear like he was really talking all that much or whatever. I had his eyes closed for most of it, and they walk him off the field. Well, while all of this is going on, Mizorowski's like, any day now, have some water, talk. Now, I don't know, and I guarantee you Jacob Mizorowski doesn't know, what protocol is when you have an injury situation and your starting pitcher is on the mound. I don't know what protocol is. This is what I can tell you. If it were me, and if I was them, meaning Murphy and those guys, he'd be doing something. He'd be throwing, playing catch, doing something. I don't think I want him just sitting there for 10, 15 minutes and then going back out there and having to start pitching again because he was rolling. And I'm here to tell you, it hasn't been the same since. He came back. The very next hitter slaps a ball to the right side. And again, Terang was playing over to like an infield shift, even though you technically can't do it. He was playing over more to second base. He slaps it to right where Terang would have been and gets a chump base hit there. Then he eventually gives up a 2-run homer to Yandy Diaz. It screwed everything up. And again, when you're talking about having a young pitcher, this type of stuff will really screw you up. Something has screwed up. Sal Frelick is just a complete disaster to begin the season. He just did a Carlos Gomez and almost fell over swinging at a not great pitch for strike 3. That was after he struck out Garrett Mitchell. It's 2-2, by the way, in this baseball game. And we'll get to how they score too. But stuff like this is where when you talk about Brewers win totals and all of this stuff, and people go, whoa, they're so young, they're so young. Very rarely, in my opinion, does that really become a factor, right? Because you're just going, it's just like any other thing. You get up, you get down, you get up, you get down. But in a situation like this where you're waiting, it can screw you up a little bit. And it could screw a veteran up too. I should say, it's not like it's only going to screw up a rookie. But that's just something like, obviously, I don't think you really have a plan because you really can't anticipate that necessarily. But Pat Murphy's been around the game 100 years. I just don't know if I want my starting pitcher sitting there that long, especially with a dude that does what? Pitches with emotion. Like, this dude is juiced to pitch. He's out of motion. And you took a needle and popped that balloon of emotion and deflated him. And he's like, all right, man, I hope this guy's all right, man. I hope CD Buckner's going to be okay. And you go through that whole thing. Like, I mean, they lose this game. I'm not even going to be mad about it. You're going to lose the series on top of it. I'm not even going to be mad because this whole thing sidetracked the starting pitcher.
But you're talking like Miz came out and threw like Brandon Sproat the other night where he gave up 4 runs in the first inning. That's not what Miz has done since. Yeah, he gave up the 2-run homer, which a lot of people have given up hits to Yandy Diaz this season. He's been the best hitter in baseball.
I don't give a damn what you say about this. You're not changing my mind. He was throwing the ball wherever he wanted to throw the ball.
6 strikeouts still and is going to end the inning with
4 when he went down in the second.
He still is only going to end with 6 more pitches than Drew Rasmussen just ended in the same amount of innings.
Right.
Like he's not that off track. I don't know what you're mad about.
Easy. I watched the game.
Yeah.
And he is not what he was then.
But he's also not bad. It's not like he's giving up a crazy amount of hits or he's doing all these crazy things.
Did I say he sucks? No. What I said was,
but you're also freaking out over nothing.
He's not. No, I disagree. I mean, that's fine. You can be like, you know what? You got no hit stuff and now you have average stuff, but you're still average. So that's good enough for me. You can say that and you can be fine with that because you're glass half full guy. I'm not. I was watching him going, man, this dude's a bad Mama Jama today. Like, he is throwing everything. He threw a curveball and dropped it on the outside corner. I was like, ooh, baby, even the curveball's working today. And then that happened, and now he was starting to search a little bit, and now that control isn't where it was. Again, I can't talk about it. I'm not a professional pitcher. I'm just telling you what my eyes see watching this. He doesn't look like he did prior to that. So regardless if he gets through 5 innings and gives up 2 runs and you go, that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. It was only a home run. Okay, fine. But if you're watching it as you're going along and seeing where he was and then what happened after that, and I'll be interested to hear what Tim Allen and Tommy Wirtz say about it when they get on, because obviously Tommy was sitting here doing the Mason Crosby show with Mitch Thundernella, so he had the game on in front of him, and he was watching it. So we'll see what he thinks, and if he thinks Mizorowski changed at all after that happened. But to me, it was relatively significant to me. And again, I mean, Brandon Woodruff last night, you're talking about, home runs. He gave up 2 home runs. Woodruff, after that game last night, was he's like, whatever. Solo home runs. He doesn't care about solo home runs. I don't care if we give up a couple solo home runs. Outside of those 2 long balls, I did pretty good. In the very first inning of that game last night, Woodruff gives up that home run. I think the pitch was like 90 miles an hour or something, and the guy just drilled it. And immediately my phone's like, oh my God, like he's not throwing any harder than he was before. And I was like, no. In spring training, his last game, he got to 89. So we're already ahead of the game. But I think his best pitch topped out at like 94, 95 in that game as he got going. He was actually building as he was going, he was starting to get stronger and throw the ball a little bit harder. So even though he wasn't throwing the ball that hard in the first inning, still able to get outs. And when I was talking to Charlie before we came on, I mean, Brandon Woodruff was at like 38 pitches after like 3 innings last night or something like that. He was really doing good. 7-pitch inning, 8-pitch inning. And then you talk about Mizorowski, and it's like, okay. And I don't know what Murphy would say to this. My thought to this is Mizorowski is pitching to strike guys out, right?
Right.
And you look at Quinn Priester, who pitched deeper into games than everybody else last year. What's he doing? He's pitching to contact a little bit more and letting these guys hit the ball. Woodruff, because he's not blowing the ball by anybody, is kind of doing the same type of thing, where when you have a guy that's trying to strike every dude out, then all of a sudden you're pitching a little bit differently, and now all of a sudden your pitch counts go a little bit longer. That was the issue with Freddie Peralta, if you remember. Tim Dillard talked about it all the time. Like, he's trying to strike every dude out. And that's why these pitch counts drag out, and he can't get as deep into games because he's trying to strike every dude out. And to a degree, I think that's what happens with Mizorowski as well.
I also just watched the last 2 batters for Jacob Mizorowski here and see him constantly beating the bottom of the zone to get guys to pop up, and it worked twice in a row for those 2 batters.
Sure did.
So I don't think Miz is always doing that, or if he is, he's still learning as a very young player.
This is going to be quick inning. That was how many pitches was that in that inning? 7, 8,
6
6
because he came in with 77
because they started swinging early in that count.
So like, he's fine. Again, I just think that like. Yes, it may have changed the way he was pitching from the first inning to the rest of the game, but at the same time, I'm not worried about it. Just like I'm not that worried about it with Brandon Woodruff either. What I guess I am a little worried about is how quickly he's escalating that pitch from 88 to 89 to 95. That's a big jump.
Right.
That's not a small thing. So for a guy who's been injured in the past, that's what I get worried about with him. But with all these pitchers this early in the season, yes, they may have their moments where they slow down a little bit, but I'm not going to get worried about it when they still are putting on a good game.
And the other part about this, too, when we talk about these pitchers, the first time Mizorowski went out there, that first start, he came just short of 100 pitches.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I both like, whoa, well, this is a little bit different for Pat Murphy. Normally, he ain't letting anybody get close to 100 pitches, especially not in April.
Well,
like maybe later in the season, but early on, normally, like you said, you work that pitch count up over the course of time coming out of spring. And he did not pitch in the World Baseball Classic, so he wasn't amped up in pitching at that point.
Well, not just almost 100 pitches, but 100 pitches with 37 balls in there too. Like he was not hitting the strike zone that cleanly in the first game either, but Murphy was letting him roll. I think you got to keep doing that with this young pitcher.
Again, that's fine. I mean, so now he's through 5 at this point, and he's at 83 pitches.
Mm-hmm.
So based on outing 1, if he stays there, he's going to let him pitch the 6th inning at this point.
That would make sense. And again, he's given up the same amount of hits, only 1 more run. Yes, has 5 less strikeouts, but is still having a really good game. Let him go.
Good stuff. The 2 runs the Brewers got in this game.
Fly ball left center. Back is Mullins. He won't catch this one. It's gone, and we're tied. First of the year for Bryce Terang, and that was a nuke.
Well, the kid's coming into his own, isn't he? As a hitter, he's always been there as a defender. This incredible opposite field power for Bryce Terang. Doubles, home runs. He's got the speed for triples. Boy, what a hitter he's become.
He has become an unbelievable player, has Bryce Terang. And we had mentioned this before. I think it was with Tommy Wirtz and probably other guests that have been on. The opportunity for him to potentially go 30-30, have 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases in a year feels legitimate. I mean, he's Mr. Doubles right now, but you saw the 10 home run August last year where it was like, damn, okay, he's got some legit power here. He can get himself going. So we'll see if Terang can do that. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer, the highly cursive Brewers TV, by the way. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer here. Charlie using other side of the glass. Coming up next, Jim Owczarski, Bucks beat writer for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. We'll talk a little bit about Doc Rivers getting elected into the Basketball Hall of Fame. Talk about the last couple of games. And don't forget, when the Bucks win, you win at Wendy's. They won yesterday. You can take advantage of this. After every Bucks win, stop by any participating Wisconsin Wendy's for a free small vanilla or chocolate frosty classic. No purchase necessary. This offer is only good for 24 hours after a win, so act fast and get that free small frosty classic at Wendy's. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here.
Nah, man, I don't think that just being smart as a pro, right now I don't think it's smart for him to play. Obviously business wise doesn't really make sense, right? We're out of the race. Obviously we can't make the playoffs. We can't even make the play in. You know what I'm saying? So right now there isn't any reason for him to be out there, especially business wise. If y'all talking about trading or whatever it is, you don't want any injury or whatever it is to knock value off, whatever. That's just business wise. And then player wise, obviously, you got to look at just the total picture of what's going on. We're 10 games behind for a 10th seed, whatever it is, and we 9 games left. We can't even make up ground. So I don't think he'll play another game this year for sure. Obviously, he'll stay in the gym and keep his body tight and keep his game tight, but playing the game on court, I don't think that's in the picture at all.
There is Bobby Portis on the Run It Back show and podcast with Michelle Beadle and others. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. To talk more about Giannis and other things concerning the Milwaukee Bucks, he is Jim Owczarski. Joining us now here on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Follow Jim Owczarski on Blue Sky, Bucks beat writer there. Jim, thanks so much for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so Bobby Portis there saying he pretty much doesn't think Giannis is going to come back or anything like that. No need to. They're already eliminated from the playoffs and so forth. Your thoughts on kind of how this whole season kind of has been concerning Giannis and the chemistry of this basketball team and the interactions of this basketball team through a year kind of filled with drama from the outside?
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that Giannis, at this point, is going to miss half the season is where this all starts, Sparky. Because obviously the year began with sources saying whatever, but when the 12 games, and it was only 12, that Giannis was healthy, he looked like an MVP. The offense was humming. They were 7-5, and while that's like on the surface not awesome to start a year, it is 48 win pace, right? That's what they had done the last 2 years, and you saw Ryan Rollins emerging, and so to me, Sparky, if Giannis had played 70 games, we're talking about a playoff berth, and this is just a different conversation, and I don't think the dark cloud Bobby has talked about all year with speculation and wonder what's happening. Like, none of that happens when the team wins. And so I just start with that. Like, it's not his fault he got hurt. It's just unfortunate that he did, and he did in a year where it's going into extension season, because extension season for superstars around the league is usually full of this, right? And for him, it's just ramped up because, Sparky, we've been talking about this, 8 years. It feels like people have wanted him out of this town and that team for better part of a decade. And so you just kind of add in all those little things. And of course it cracks away at the vibes. Of course Bobby's right, and it was uneasy and weird. And Giannis, Sparky, we can talk or argue maybe about how effective or ineffective his public comments to try to squash some of this were, because invariably no one seems to believe him when he talks, and then if he doesn't talk, people want him to talk, and then they don't believe. Like, there's a no-win situation here too for a lot of these guys. So yeah, it's just a lost year in so many ways, and it all starts with the fact that a potential MVP, second, third best player in the league, missed half the season, and that's just the way it went.
So, Jim, when we talk about the other talent on this basketball team here the last couple of nights, I want to just say a name, and then you tell me whether or not it makes sense for them to be back on this team and how much of a role you think they could potentially play on this team kind of next year, regardless if Giannis is back or not. What about our guy, Jang? Is he back on this team as a restricted free agent?
I say yes, but I do think the front office should do a little work to not come in at that qualifying offer. He was a lottery pick.
Yep.
So not to bore fans with details, but it's a pretty decent chunk of change to me for an unproven player. So I think if you could get him to trade off of, say, like a 1 year, $9.5 million qualifying offer for like a 2+1, a little more money total, but a little less of a cap number. Yes, I'd say we've seen enough from him to think, he could be something. Let's find out what that something is.
What's his strength? What's his weakness?
So I think the strength is see now, Giannis or not. I mean, he fits Giannis to me, Sparky, really well.
Yep.
I mean, so to me, I think you see a player who knows where to be, knows what to do, understands spacing, understands, that big fella kicks me the ball. This is going up. Also defensively, I think it's been fair to try him at different spots to see what he can and can't do. I think that's a work in progress individually, Sparky. But look, you see the 4 years of Oklahoma City in him. Offensively, you see him moving without the ball. Defensively, you see that he knows what to do. So I think, honestly, the overall strength is something is just he knows what winning basketball looks like because he's been a part of it. And frankly, not a ton of other guys on this team do.
Yeah, it's Jim Owczarski, Bucks beat writer for the Milwaukee Journal-Sun. Follow him on Blue Sky. Jim Owczarski there. Let's talk about another player on this team who is in the most improved player category, and Ryan Rollins. A lot of people very excited for Ryan Rollins. What is Ryan Rollins? Where is Ryan Rollins' ceiling in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, the ceiling is borderline all-star, Sparky, because he's at close to 20 points a game, close to 6.5 assists, 1.5 steals. Those are the raw numbers. 50, 40, 80, right? I mean, and he's 23 and has run the full gamut of a first-year player who was suddenly the man. We opened this with Giannis missing 41 games. Kevin Porter Jr. is going to miss half the season too. Yep. So Ryan's had some roller coaster moments, Sparky, but he's back out of it. We've seen more of the really, really good. Those are like Chris Middleton numbers. Maybe trade the assists for Chris rebounded a little, right? That's crazy. And Chris made 3 All-Star teams, probably should have made a 4th. So Ryan, we're going to see a lot of best contract in the NBA stories in the offseason, and Ryan Rollins either being number 1 for the Bucks or number 2. So Ryan, I think, is definitely whatever version of the Bucks we see going forward, Sparky. He's a part of that core.
Has Rollins been really good against really bad teams and maybe more along the lines of average against really good teams?
I'm sure if we went through the game log, we'd see peaks and valleys. I'm just going to go look at let's just look at that Portland game, when he had his career high.
Yep.
Right. I mean, Portland's trying to win, and they put Tamani Kamara and Drew Holiday on him. He's the only ball handler. He's the only shot creator. He's the only scorer. So Portland threw their best at him, and it started poorly. And then he started to figure it out. I think I don't think it's just empty calorie stats for him. He's just done it too many times. Early in the season, when everyone was invested in trying hard, he had his dip in the middle of the year, that maybe what you'd call like a rookie wall, his first year doing this, Sparky. Yeah. And now he's come out the other end, and he looks so much better as a playmaker. The 6.5 assists right now, Sparky, we didn't see that in November and December. It was either throw it away or he didn't pass it and took maybe an ill-advised shot. So no, I think what we've seen is the real deal.
I think Rollins and Jang are the two guys that you look at and go, okay, I can see them potentially keeping them. And because they're both young, they both got upside. You can continue with them building blocks, regardless if Giannis is here or not. They're still young enough to be building blocks. Are there other guys that should be in that conversation about guys to continue building with, even if Giannis isn't here?
Yeah, I think AJ Green earn that extension, which kicks in next season. Now, he's maybe in that Sam Hauser mold, Sparky, where that's a number, what is he, about $12 million, that is tradable. He's got an elite skill set that, depending what you're trying to do this summer with whom, that's desirable, but it's also desirable for the Bucks. You need 3-point shooting. You need a guy who can shoot 40+% from behind the arc, regardless of your team construct. So I don't know if AJ would be like an 82-game starter, even if Giannis comes back. Like, I think if Ryan is your 2 guard, you'd want a more established ball handler at point. But I do think AJ at that number is a good piece, is a very good player. He's proven that. So I think going forward, for sure, AJ has earned that. But you're right. After that, it's Sparky. Look, Kevin Porter Jr.'s raw numbers look really, really good aside from the 3-point shooting. But I think Ryan Rollins has made him somewhat expendable. Like, if he opts out, I don't know if the Bucks really need to try to get him back. So even though he's 25, I'd say I'd go with AJ Green over Kevin, because you've got Ryan now and you kind of know what he is.
Does it matter to you what position they draft? I mean, if the best player on the board is Acuff, let's say, he won't be, but let's say Acuff is there from Arkansas, my favorite player in this deal. But because you have Rollins and you have KPJ, would that stop you from drafting a guard?
No, because look, the Bucks need high-end talent, and it's a lack of it, right? And we knew that going into this year. Obviously, look, Kyle Kuzma won a title. Miles Turner went to a finals. Bobby Portis won a title. Obviously, we know Giannis. Like, they had winning players, role players, but that high end stuff, the Dame, the Chris, just not, it's not there. So, Acuff is interesting. I mean, I understand the comps. He's an exciting player. His 3-point shot seems to be good. I always struggle with like the really short guard, Sparky, in the modern NBA.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to be, he looks so dynamic. But the short guard thing is tough. But no, I guess if you're the Bucks and you land in a spot, you get lucky. If this breaks your way, you just take whatever, because they just need high end talent. And if look, Ryan Rollins, for as good as he can be offensively, Sparky, I think why he's a great fit is because he doesn't need to be ball dominant. He can catch and shoot and close, and attack a closeout on a swing. Like, so if Acuff is the guy, I think Ryan fits a player like that far better than say Kevin Porter.
One last one for you, Jim Owczarski, Bucks beat writer of the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Follow him on Blue Sky as well as he joins us here on Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you. Doc Rivers going into the Hall of Fame as a coach. I said yesterday, I mean, I get it. He had success with Boston. Understand that. But I would say every other fan base that he's been a coach at all dislike him and don't think he's very good. And when you're a Hall of Fame coach, that doesn't seem to make much sense.
Yeah, look, you're right, Sparky. He is and was a lock. There's only so many coaches with 1,000 wins. They're all in a title. He was in the top 15 coaches of all time. When Giannis was part of the top 75. I mean, he checked all the boxes. Other than multiple titles with different teams, I guess in fairness, Sparky, there's only a couple coaches who've actually won titles with multiple teams. What you can say is, look, man, this year is his first losing season in almost 20. And while the end results, of course, are there's no denying the 3-1 series record in playoffs and all of that stuff. The guys, up until he got to Milwaukee, had won at a high level everywhere he's been. And so this is just sort of the end of it. But yeah, I mean, he deserved it. He earned it, with all the teams and stuff. So yeah, it is what it is. It's just, the Bucks are, the footnote at the end of it.
Yeah. And again, you look at the talent level of this team, how it was constructed all around Giannis. That's how this whole team was supposed to function. And then he doesn't play half of the season. And everyone's like, well, it doesn't work. Now, granted, Doc could have made different adjustments and been better and all that. I get all that. But at the end of the day, I doubt anybody will even remember this when, he's talking about his career 10 years from now or whatever. Thank you so much for coming on, Jim Owczarski. What can everybody find over there at the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel?
Yeah, we've got good stuff coming. Look, I understand it's the end of the year for the Bucks, but yeah, we're gonna close this out, Sparky. And look, there hasn't been a lottery pick since 2016.
Yeah,
there hasn't maybe been a high lottery pick since 2014.
Yep.
So whatever that looks like, Journal Sentinel, jsonline.com, and then of course, Sparky. Look, could there be front office changes? Could there be head coaching changes? Obviously, the Giannis whatever. Like, this is a pretty monumental offseason beginning to me the Monday after the regular season. So if you're not already locked into us, jsonline.com, give us a chair. I think it's like $1. Take you through the whole offseason. 6 months, we can, you can get all your Bucks needs, whatever that is, from us.
Yeah, Jim Owczarski is not going to get time to rest this offseason. I just don't think you're going to have a lot of downtime. You're just every day you'll be like, okay, phew, a break, and then something else is going to happen. It's just not going to stop. Jim, thank you so much, my friend. Have a good Easter. Have a good weekend.
All right, thank you too.
Take care. There he is, Jim Owczarski, joining us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. If you want to watch pro basketball, college basketball this weekend, some big games coming up this weekend in college basketball. If you want to watch baseball, right? Maybe you like watching the Brewers, but you're not going to the Brewers games, but you like betting on the Brewers. You want to head over to the Potawatomi Sportsbook. That's where you are going to want to be. 2,000 square foot center screen, over 30 sporting events at one time you can watch. You have the Potawatomi Sportsbook Kitchen, which is a full menu, including brunch all day, homemade pastries and desserts made on site, 48 beers, dozen different specialty cocktails, all right there at the Potawatomi Casino Hotel. And you can reserve your seats ahead of time. Nominal fee. Go sort your food and beverage costs. You're going to spend that money anyhow. Go to Potawatomi.com today for more information. Again, Potawatomi.com for more information. Coming up next, Charlie's Sounds of the Day on Wisconsin Sports Daily. Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you here on a Wednesday. Habish, and Rotier. They, of course, sponsor our Plead the Fifth segment on Friday afternoons at 4:20 this Friday. The franchise Tim Allen will be hosting the show with Charlie Usen, as I will be off on Friday. So it'll be Tim and Charlie taking your text messages and calls at 4:20 on Friday. You can always nominate people for the Plead the Fifth segment, brought to you by Habish Rotier, by using the talk and text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. They were founded in 1930, 13 locations around the beautiful state of Wisconsin. National reputation. Hometown service. Hometown service is always my favorite part about all this. Why? Because they treat you like you matter. And do you know what else matters? Experience matters when things get serious. And Habish has a lot of it. These aren't rookies to the game. These are people that have been doing it for a long time and knowing how to win their cases and knowing how to do the best for you. And it's not a national law firm that has to happen to have a law office in your town. This whole thing was built from the ground up here in the state of Wisconsin. They've been your neighbor probably for your whole life. I would imagine at this point, 1930. How many people right now do you think are living or born in 1930? Yeah.
You were what, 18 then?
Around there. I was still in high school. But either way, 1930. So everybody listening that grew up here and lived in Wisconsin, they've been your neighbor the entire time. They've grown up with you just like everybody else. Check out Habish, and Rotier today. If you're hurt in a car accident and looking for some help, all you got to do is go to Habish.com. Habish.com. Again, Habish, and Rotier, national reputation and hometown service.
What sound clips will Chicago Charlie pick today for Sparky? Will Sparky become enraged? Will laughter ensue? It's time for Charlie's Sound of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, Charlie, use it. Where to first?
All right, so first up, we're going to head on over to foul territory. We've heard a lot of stuff be said about the umpires, good things, bad things. Recently, like you mentioned, last night, CB Buckner has been getting a lot of heat for the way that he's been calling the game to start the season off here. This is former umpire Joe West on foul territory discussing why people need to give the umps a break.
These guys adjusted to the system that you gave them the first time, the Quest Tech. The zone evaluation system, and they'll get better. And you got to realize they're throwing this on them now without having any what you call dress rehearsal. And that's the funny thing about umpiring. We don't have batting practice. We don't have the ability to go look at pitches before the game starts. And so, I feel for guys whenever I see a call where I think he made a mistake or any umpire makes a mistake, I feel for him because we've all been there. It's like, and you guys realize it. The guy throws a pitch right down the middle and you swing and miss it. You go, what was I doing? How did I miss that? And umpires are the same way. They're human beings and they're going to make mistakes. And let's be realistic. There are going to be some umpires that are going to be a little bit better than other umpires. But in the scope of things, the professional baseball umpires in the major leagues are the best officials in all the sports all over the world.
I don't disagree with that. He made do you have that, the only cut you have?
Yeah, it's the one from that show, yeah.
He had another cut in which he said that there are no personal vendettas against players and so forth. And with all due respect, I don't believe you. I don't believe you at all. And because as was pointed out by numerous players who went after Joe West on social media after he said that, it's like, oh, no, that's just not true. You've been mad at me since whatever happened. You're a human being. It's going to happen. Like if you get mad at somebody or whatever the case may be, some people hold grudges, others don't. I'm one of those people that hold grudges for life. So if you cross me or I get mad at you for whatever the reason, it's over. Like, good luck getting back. It's probably not going to happen. Not many people have. Is it a bad trait and quality that I have? Yeah, absolutely. Do I want my kids to have the same bad quality trait that I have? Absolutely not. But some people are that way. For better or worse, that's who they are. And if you have an umpire that's that way, that's not good for everybody that's playing. And that could be a referee in the NFL, NHL, NBA, or here in Major League Baseball. It could be to any of those at this point. But his point of these umpires are damn good and they're the best at what they do. Absolutely. 100%. Again, being a home plate umpire, most difficult job in sports. In my opinion, I don't think there's anything close. I just
don't think so either.
No.
When looking at what these guys have done this season, and we heard other people talk about this and give them this type of praise, is that how close some of these pitches are that they're missing or that they're getting to at points is just insane. Like the fact that they're even that close on that call is absurd, and you got to give them some credit for that.
There was a challenge call last night. The ball was like right next to the line, like a millimeter. I mean, I don't know how much it was. And that was the decision on the call, ball or strike. It's crazy.
Well, and no matter which category you go to, catcher, hitter, pitcher, and the pitchers haven't really challenged any pitches so far this season, but the umpires are still more right than the catchers and the hitters are at the end of the day.
I'd love to know how Greg Maddux would be if this system was in place when he pitched. How Randy Johnson would be if this system was in place. Roger Clemens, all these guys. And the simple reason I want to know that is because back then, there were Jordan rules, and probably all the way up till now, for those great pitchers. They would get a ball length easily, maybe more than that, on the outside corners, outside and inside corners, and they'd get called strikes because of how great they were. The umpires would give it to them, especially if they were good to the umpires. Now, those days are done. Now, if you're going to be an ace, you truly are going to be an ace. And not taking anything away from them. Hall of Famers, all with decorated histories, but they were given a lot of benefits of the doubt by home plate umpires along the way.
Next up here, we're going to head on over to Good Morning Football, where former Packers quarterback Brett Hundley was on the show with Ty Montgomery as well. They just had a bunch of old Packers on, and I think they have their own podcast too off to the side. But he was discussing, Brett Hundley, that is, how good Jordan Love can be.
He's competing against, you have Aaron Rodgers, you have Brett Favre before him. And so Green Bay is used to quarterbacks, who are coming out winning Super Bowls, and Jordan Love is getting there. And I think he's been great since he started playing. I'm a huge fan of him. I think he's done such a great job, a phenomenal job, not only learning when he came into Green Bay behind Aaron, but now when he took over, really stepping into the position and taking them where they needs to go. So I'm excited to see them this year. And I think he will be a great quarterback. Once he gets the Super Bowl, I think all the squash will be done.
Agreed. But he's got to get the Super Bowl, Mr. Hundley. I don't know what it is necessarily with everybody when they hop on a bandwagon. Like LeBron won a championship, didn't mean jack. They just continued to hammer on that dude. It did not mean anything, right? Michael never had this. Like Michael was criticism free for the most part all the way through.
Since high school.
I mean, pretty much he stayed out of the limelight. Now, would that have been the case had he been in the era of Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith and Colin Cowherd? Probably not. Those three would have found something to go after him about.
The way they talk about him nowadays.
Yes.
I guess I don't think they would have talked about Wilts the same way that they talk about. I think they love Jordan. They would have loved Jordan then too.
Yeah, I don't know. But either way, I mean, from that perspective, if he wins the Super Bowl, does he escape the criticism? I think he does, especially from the Packer fan base and local media. I think that's the end of it, because at that point, he's got as many Super Bowl appearances and wins as Aaron Rodgers does, who everybody considers to be obviously a first ballot Hall of Famer. And Brett Favre has 2 appearances and 1 Super Bowl. So if he gets a Super Bowl win, he's got as many rings as Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers do at that point, at which point everybody's just got to hush it up a little bit and watch the rest of his career and be happy, because that really is the end game. I mean, how many organizations can you come up with that have had 3 straight quarterbacks with Super Bowl wins? Good luck. I don't know if it even exists. Maybe it doesn't exist. Maybe it's never happened. I don't know.
Gonna say, I guess they wouldn't be 3 straight quarterbacks. Like the Seahawks almost were there, but they had Geno in the middle of Sam Darnold
Correct.
and Russ, so they don't have that.
3 straight.
That's probably the closest is the Seahawks.
Yes. Crazy. All right, you got anything else?
I got one more. That's about 20 seconds. We
All
got
right.
real quick. This is Jerry Jones discussing the benefits of an 18th game for players.
Is there a benefit besides financials, Jerry, to the 18th game to the players in your mind?
Well, I think it's a better application of their careers and talent. Less preseason, more playing in games that have the right balance of the financial rewards as well as the exposure.
And more chance of serious injury by putting him into the battle because you aren't paying your starters in the preseason games anyhow at this point.
But it's more money for Jerry, so he doesn't care.
Right, well, and more money for the players because they'll get paid.
I guess
more,
until they get hurt and get paid less.
Crazy. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky with you. Coming up next, Green and Gold update brought to you by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. So there was one article that says Packers drafts haven't been all that great. Now there's another one that says they're top 3 since 2018. We'll discuss straight ahead.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Welcome in, 3 o'clock hour. It is the Brewers and the Rays right now at American Family Field. And it is tied at 2. And the 2 runs for the Brewers came on a 2-run homer by Bryce Terang. Diaz with a 2-run homer for Tampa Bay. And that is how all the runs were scored. Jacob Owczarski pitched 6 innings, giving up that home run. Had, a half dozen strikeouts, I think he ended up with, somewhere in that area. So that also was a good thing for the Miz and the Milwaukee Brewers. Now we'll just see if anybody can bust through here. I mean, I was looking at their Brewers caught a break there. Joey Ortiz ripped a ball and the shortstop couldn't handle it, and into center field it went. You start thinking about their record right here. I mean, if they win this game, they're 5-1, which is amazing. But then to do it with William Contreras not contributing under a 200 batting average, Sal Frelick has not hit the ball well at all either to this point, doing his thing. They really haven't had any production out of third base at all. I mean, Rengifo has been screwed numerous times on balls that probably should be hits that were line outs or hard ground balls at somebody.
And David Hamilton, when he gets on the base paths, is a weapon. Like,
correct.
He steals to third every single time he gets on first base. Just he didn't get on first base that often.
Correct. Now another break, it looks like, for the Brewers. Bryce Terang lays down a bunt, and they charge, and it looks like the first baseman dropped the ball for Tampa Bay. So I think Terang is safe. So now it's first and second, nobody out, with Jax in the game for Tampa Bay in pitching. They're showing the replay here. Yeah, it was a bunt down the third baseline. The ball was right there. He just dropped it. Is that Caminero at first base?
I think that's Yandy Diaz at first base, isn't it?
Oh, I thought it was Caminero. Either way, it doesn't matter. Whoever was at first base dropped that ball. So now it's first and second. There should be 2 outs for Tampa Bay. I mean, those were back-to-back plays.
Jonathan Aranda at first base.
Oh, Aranda's at first base because Caminero's the third baseman.
Never mind. No, Caminero started the game at third base. They moved him to first.
Thank you.
First base. Okay, there we go.
That's man, I know I'm old.
I get all thrown.
I'm like, man, I just watched this 2 World Baseball Classic. I swore that's Caminero. Okay, good. So first and second, and Contreras is up. Now would be a good time. He's hitting a $182 for the season so far. You know he's going to get going.
He's gotta. I think that's the biggest thing. And when he does get going, like we saw in the second half of the season last year, it is awesome for this team. It gets everybody else going. It gets everybody else going.
Yeah, he can carry you for a couple weeks. There's no question about that.
It's time for your green and gold update on Wisconsin Sports Daily, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer.
Speaking of that Potawatomi Sportsbook, get over there. Get over there. Watch all your favorite events, whether it be UFC fight nights. They got that. They use the Addicts from time to time to show wrestling pay-per-views, WWE pay-per-views, and events as well. Plus, you've got, in the sports book, 30 different sporting events on at one time: baseball, basketball, college or pro. You got hockey and the playoffs. They'll be coming up there. Pro basketball and their playoffs will be coming up. So all of that stuff. All right there at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Unbelievable food. 2 levels of seating to go along with everything else. Gambling kiosks all over the place, including when you get off of the parking garage. You take that skywalk over. What is that? The fourth level of the parking garage. Take that over. Rock and Bruce's on one side. Great food there. And then right across the way, you got the bathrooms and then all those gambling kiosks that you can make your bets before you even get inside. So if you're going to dinner at one of the many unbelievably great restaurants inside of the Potawatomi Casino Hotel, you and your girl, 1 second, honey, go over, make a quick bet. All right, let's go have our steak. All right, and off you go. And then when you're all done, depending on how long your dinner takes, and maybe you hit the craps table or hit some slots, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, money on the Brewers, they just won. Hey, let's go stop over and cash this ticket real quick, right? Let's just go stop in the sportsbook. Okay, fine, you're going to win money. I'll buy you dessert. Let's go get some money, right? And off you go, and it's a successful night for everybody. For more information, go to Potawatomi.com. That's Potawatomi.com. The last batter was William Contreras. He hit a base hit into right field. So now they're loaded, nobody out, with Yelich up. folks, they better at least get one damn run out of this. That's all I'm saying. It's the bottom of the 8th. Like, just get one run. Just get the lead and let your bullpen finish this off. I'm assuming it'll be Trevor McGill at the end of the day. And if McGill comes in, you feel pretty good about your save opportunities happening at that point. Christian Yelich with an 2 RBI base hit to right field. And the Brewers are up 4-2. Still nobody out. And now runners on first and second as we sit here. Again, nobody out still, bottom of the 8. Man, Brewers. Whew. Everybody that said 85 wins, oh, they're not going to be good. Some picked them to be 4th in the division behind the Pirates and the Reds and the Cubs. I wonder what they're all thinking through the first 2 series. And again, long season. Injuries happen, they're screwed, and all of a sudden they lose 12 in a row because half the roster is hurt. I can't control that. You can't do anything about that. I mean, right now they're down 2 really good hitters and a really good pitcher in their starting rotation, and they're just cruising along.
Right, they're fine. And like you mentioned before, not a lot of these guys in the batting lineup have been that phenomenal throughout the course of all 6 of these games.
Turang and Yelich are the only 2.
Those are the only 2.
And
other
Bowers, to a degree.
Even then, he's had his moments where he's really good. And I think you're going to get that throughout the season where you just get pockets of different guys just playing off each other. You saw that last year with this team, too, when Isaac Collins had that 1 month of just insane play.
And then he had a kid. It has not been the same since.
In Kansas City right now, he is struggling to start the season, too, because everybody's talking about Angel Zerpa starting off so well for the Brewers and how they robbed the Royals and other teams again. It just feels like this team isn't nearly 100%, nearly 80% at this point, and they're still starting the season off this way. And that's a pretty good sign.
Caleb Durbin is on a struggle bus for the Red Sox. At last check, he was 0 for 12 to start the season. I don't know what he did in the second series that he's in right now, but I heard, did you hear?
People are going to stop trading with the Brewers.
I heard one clip from a Boston radio station of a caller being like, I'd rather take a car ride with Tiger Woods than watch Caleb Durbin. I mean, that's not good.
That's not good. No.
that's not good.
Hey, Boston's going to be a mean fan base. You got to get used to it.
That media,
you're going to hear that a lot.
That media, we all think we're hard. They're at a whole completely different level than we are at this point. Okay, so it is a green and gold update. I want to make sure that we get our Packer talk in here. So this is from Packers Wire. According to Stick to the Model draft rankings, have you ever heard of Stick to the Model?
A couple times before, and I've heard them they do this where they make mathematical models to grade different things across the leagues.
Perfect. I've never heard of it. So the Packers ranked 3rd in the NFL in draft value added since 2018, which measures how much value teams find in the draft relative to where they pick. The only 2 teams ranked ahead of the Packers in drafting since 2018, the Buffalo Bills and the San Francisco 49ers. Now, what do we have in common with these 3?
Can't win a Super Bowl.
Yep.
That's it. Have good coaches and can't win a Super Bowl.
Yep. Exactly right. That's exactly right. Bowers to the walks. Now they're loaded. Pitching change for Tampa in the bottom of the 8th inning. Gutekunst's Packers also ranked 2nd in what they call hit rate, behind only the Bills. Hits are quantified as players who exceeded their expected performance based on where they were drafted. The Packers are tied for the 5th lowest bust rate in Gutekunst's tenure, which is a top pick who has performed poorly or is out of the league. These are all very good things, right? And we just had Pete Doherty on talking about his professor or whatever that he had, that's a big Packer fan, who graded out drafts during Goody's tenure with how many teams got all pros, how many teams got Pro Bowlers, and the Packers were in the bottom 3rd of the National Football League in that area. Then, in this Stick to the Model thing, they also have star rate rankings. There is where the Packers dropped, sitting tied for 13th, but it is the weakest part of the team's overall profile since 2018 with no first-round pick in 26 or 27. The ranking is unlikely to improve anytime soon. It is going to improve because if Watson stays healthy, he's got a chance to be a Pro Bowler. If Tucker Kraft stays healthy, he's got a chance to be a Pro Bowler, maybe a first-team All-Pro here in the next couple of years, regardless if they get a first-round pick or not.
Well, and Zach Tom has that ability if he can stay healthy. And Jared Cooper has that ability if he can stay healthy. In some people's minds, Evan Williams has that ability if he can stay healthy. Like, you have a lot of players. Devontae Wyatt, even, you could say, has that ability if he can stay healthy. It's just a lot of guys that you're saying, can they stay healthy? And I think that's something that in models like this, mathematical models, it gets kind of taken out but that's something that is put into the draft process for a lot of these teams, talking about the injury history of these players, talking about the injury concerns for these players, and whether or not you want to bring that risk on, and that lowers certain grades for certain players. I said this the other day when talking about Brian Gutekunst and his drafting. I do feel like he and Matt LaFleur get a lot out of guys that are drafted later in the rounds where they have lower floors and it's easier to see that big of a jump.
Day 3 guys.
And I think because of that, that kind of skews models like this, because you're seeing these huge jumps from guys that were just starting at base 0 versus some guys that are starting at base 5 and going to base 50.
Right, but that goes back to what this thing does. This accounts for all of that, right? So this goes back to that value added, which measures how much value teams find in the draft relative to where they're picked. That's where they're third behind Buffalo and San Francisco, and then hit rate behind only the Bills. Hits are quantified as players who exceeded their expected performance based on where they were drafted. That's why the Packers rank so high, because they take into what you're saying into account. To that start point, and it's pointed out in this article on Packers Wire, most star players in the NFL are going to come from the first round, and more so from the early stages of it. Since 2018, the Packers have picked in the top 12 of the draft one time and have only selected in the top 20 another 2 times in this entire round. So to a degree, that makes everything more into perspective, I think, for Packer fans when you start talking about where you're actually getting star players in the NFL right now.
It does. It just feels like those guys that are drafted in the first round past that pick 20 are the ones that aren't producing as well for this Packers team. And I think, again, when you talk about, yes, this Miles taking into account how much value you're getting out of those guys that they draft in the 7th round, in the 6th round, the 5th round, those day 3 picks, even to some degree the 2nd through the 4th round for this Packers team, because they do pretty well in those rounds too. It's those guys in the first round. Sometimes it's the early 2nd round guys where you do see this Packers team struggle to develop those guys into the ceiling that a lot of people are grading them at, versus these other guys where their ceilings, again, are just so much lower that it is in some ways easier to get them to that ceiling. And it looks better when you're counting this numbers and putting it into algorithms like this. But when you're not getting the guys that are at that kind of higher floor to start off with to their ceilings, that's where they're struggling, and that's what it's not taking into account.
Brewers, was that Garrett Mitchell?
That was Garrett Mitchell.
Yep. Garrett Mitchell hits a double. Jake Bowers, I don't know what the hell he was doing. He went running back to second base where Garrett Mitchell was, had to turn around and then take off running late with a head first slide into third. Was safe. So that scored more runs. So the Brewers are up 6-2. That scored 2 more on that Garrett Mitchell, who now has 2 hits on the day, I believe. 6-2 Brewers lead. And then Sal Frelick popped up behind the catcher for the first out of the inning. I mean struggle bus. Struggle bus. Blake Perkins now at bat. He's hitting like a $125. Another one that has not played well. I wonder, I've not seen, as far as Matos goes, when is he supposed to be in a Brewers uniform?
Have you seen anything on Matos? Seen anything. Again, yesterday
they got him from the Giants, so I wonder if it's going to probably be a couple days. Maybe he'll get with them on their road trip. Maybe that's what happens. Probably they have a day off tomorrow.
Especially if he hadn't been like playing at that level with the Giants, he was kind of up and down with the minor leagues to get him acclimated to coming back to a major league role.
And they're going to Kansas City, I believe, right, to take on the Royals. So maybe he hooks up with them in Kansas City, or maybe he's there now, just not in uniform or active or anything, and then gets there in Kansas City. Blake Perkins, I don't see how he stays up here. I mean, Perkins is the one that goes back down for Matos, right? That's how this goes.
Kind of has to.
He's a lefty. If you're trying to add a righty to the lineup, then Perkins has to be the odd guy out that goes back down.
And you really need to get a righty into this lineup. As much as I like the kind of spectacle of the lefty heavy lineup plus the lefty heavy bullpen and rotation, you still want to see a couple more righties in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming up next, things Sparky missed. We'll talk with the president of the Milwaukee Admirals, John Greenberg, about all things Milwaukee Admirals. Don't forget, Wendy says the official Dunks of March Madness, which means you can get the iconic chocolate frosty paired with fries. It's the perfect opportunity to dunk crispy, salty fries into a decadent chocolate frosty. It's even better because when you order from the official Dunks menu, you'll automatically be entered for a chance to win a variety of prizes during March Madness. Order from the official Dunks menu today. Download the Wendy's app for the official Dunks menu for a chance to win big this coming March Madness. Take a quick time out on the other side. We'll talk to John Greenberg of the Admirals. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here.
And a ground ball to the right side. He'll do it. Ortiz scores. Terang coming home. It's cut off. A 2-run single for Christian Yelich. And he does it again in the 8th.
Well, he just gets the hits when they need him, right? A tough day up to that point, but bases loaded, nobody out, and Yelly able to serve one in the right. Boy, the Brewers, a big 8th inning, still nobody out.
It's a beautiful thing. Highlight courtesy of Brewers TV. Brewers now up 8-2, top of 9. Dale Hall on the mound, and I believe he hit the first guy that he faced in the hand.
Yes.
For Tampa Bay. But either way, regardless, the Potawatomi Sportsbook baseball post-game show, however you want to call it, comes up here in 7 minutes. We will have Tommy Wirtz. We will have Tim Allen. They will take you the rest of the way home from 3:30 to 5:30. Then it's Wisconsin Sports Wrap-Up from 5:30 to 6. Coming up tonight, that last half hour will be Wisconsin Sports Wrap-Up, and then off you are for the rest of your evening. Joining us now, he is the president of the Milwaukee Admirals. He is John Greenberg, and things that Sparky missed. Mr. Greenberg, I've missed you. How have you been? Are you good?
I'm very well, Sparky. It's nice to see you again.
It is nice to see you as well. All right, so what's the latest with the Milwaukee Admirals? How have we been the last week as the playoffs are coming?
Yeah, they sure are. We won 2 out of the last 3, 8 out of the last 11. We're playing well over the last several weeks. Big push here as we enter April. Nine total games left, and big road trip that starts this weekend in Cleveland and then heads to Manitoba. So we still are looking at trying to move up in the standings. We're in 5th place. Our magic number is 9 to clinch our playoff spot. So we just want to keep our foot on the gas here, and we think that it's possible to get ourselves to all the way up to 3rd place if everything plays itself out well.
MilwaukeeAdmirals.com to buy your tickets today. Also check out the promotional schedule. ALS night just happened. How was that? How did that go?
It was great. It was really a special night. I'm very proud of the effort that was put forth on that, and just everything involving our players, our game production, the community. Watching people communicate with ASL on the concourse, I think we reached out to a very different audience that hopefully will come back and see us again. It was just a really nice night.
Yeah, ASL night, very cool night put on by the Milwaukee Admirals. Now, coming up next, you have next weekend, next Saturday, you have Sendik's Dog Day 2 and Battle of the Badges as well next Saturday night.
We do. Battle of the Badges, games at 12:30 and 2 o'clock between law enforcement and the fire department. And if you happen to see on YouTube any of the highlights of the New York Fire Department and the New York police guys, I pray it won't be like that because it turned into a melee.
Really?
Yes.
It did?
Yeah, they were really getting after each other, and that's a big deal at Madison Square Garden every year. So I'm hoping we have a nice big crowd to support these guys and ladies who are playing in these games. But let's hope it doesn't turn into that.
And it's also a fan appreciation night Saturday night as well, involving Summerfest.
It is, yeah. First, 7,500 fans are going to get a ticket to Summerfest for this year, which is great. Great partners of ours over there. It is the first of our final 3 home games, which are all going to be fan appreciation directed. But 7,500 Summerfest tickets on Saturday night. Then Sunday is Roscoe's birthday party, which is always a special day. We've got a children's hospital giveaway that day, and you can bring your skates and skate on the ice after the game. So great weekend of entertainment for the family.
I love it. I love it. I love it. John Greenberg, thank you so much for coming on again. Get your tickets. They're going to be playoff bound here. MilwaukeeAdmirals.com. Also can find your promotional schedule there too. John, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks, Sparky.
You betcha. There he is, John Greenberg, joining us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that is all. Has anybody seen Tommy Wirtz? I know he's here. He's texting me.
He's texting me too, so that's who he's here.
He's on in 4 minutes. I hope he understands to be in here in 4 minutes.
He likes to play it smooth. He play cool.
Yeah, sure. Hey, I got something that came across on Things Sparky Missed that came across during the game from Nicole Arbach, who covers, obviously, college sports and does it very, very well. The NCAA will penalize programs that sign and add a transfer or allow a transfer to participate in athletically related activities without the athlete being entered into the transfer portal. Penalties include a head coach suspension 50% of the season and a fine of 20% of that sport's budget. These are very heavy penalties, and they come with spring football practices underway across the country. It's the first year without a spring portal window for football. Did I miss something?
I don't think so.
I obviously did. There's some illegal crap going on in college football if they had to put this rule out, because that means what you're saying is, I think what they're saying is a kid from Wisconsin is going to go play for Bielema in Illinois, is practicing with them, but never entered the transfer portal, is going to, the next time it opens, but is already practicing and working out with them, even though they're officially not in the portal.
But I feel like any transfer portal stuff happening at the Division I level would definitely be that would be a huge story. And I haven't heard that story. So that tells me maybe these are guys from the D2, D3 level. They're coming up to the D1 level that they're just not marking this because those guys are at smaller schools or JUCO colleges going to the D1 level. That's a big difference. So you're changing leagues. That might change the way that you address these transfer portal rules. Maybe this is their way of saying, you know what, we've seen this happen. We're going to nip it in the bud and make a rule about it so that moving forward, these guys do have to put their names in the transfer portal despite not being in the same league technically.
Yeah, I guess so. It's just amazing. Tommy Wirtz is in here. Tommy Wirtz, let's have an on-air production meeting, a show meeting here.
Okay.
I'm fully ready to hit your open here and then let you take over with Tim Allen, or I could hit your first spot breaking your post-game show now and give you 5 minutes, but it is 2 outs and a 2-2 count here in the 9th inning and a 6-run lead. So what would you prefer me to do there, Mr. Wirtz? Would you like to get right after it, or what would you like to do? Tim Allen, are you there?
Yes, game over.
Yeah, so you want to go right now then?
Game over. Let's go. After the last pitch, make the switch. Here we go now.
All right, there you go. Here we go now. And down goes Tim. So he's ready to rock and roll. That'll do it for us. Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Brewers win. Brewers win 8-2. Up next, it's the franchise. Tim Allen and Tommy Wirtz with the Potawatomi Sportsbook